Hi guys, hope you had an awesome weekend. My name is Rudo, this is Crypto EMC, live Bitcoin and altcoin technical analysis done almost every day. So looking at this chart, what the hell are we going to do next? This was our roadmap, and as per the videos and the tweets shared with you guys, 60k is our buy zone, and from this point onwards Bitcoin is moving up. Now we're reaching a trend line. Trend lines, as we know, is a load of horse, but it does play a significant role, because if everybody agrees it's resistance, nobody's going to buy. So if there's no manipulation, manipulation is our friend, no manipulation, price won't go higher, it will actually go look for liquidity lower. And so we have a tough week ahead of us, because within this zone, Bitcoin needs to decide, are we going to have our halving pump now? We're going to dump a little bit lower and test these lows. This and a lot more in today's video. We're going to be looking at some of our altcoin calls as well, like the OP call, like some of the other ones as well. So guys, you know what to do next. Do your hodl bags a favor and subscribe today. Double down, hit that like and notification icon, and let's get charting. So in short, CME gap, I said to you guys, we had a little bit of a hidden CME gap. That happened because the dump happened over the weekend, last weekend actually. And my fear was that if Bitcoin was going to pump over this weekend, we might have another CME gap form. Now there is, for all intents and purposes, a small CME gap, but for me, that's nothing to write home about, nothing too crazy. But as I explained to you guys, we've got hidden, excuse me, the little hiccup there, hidden bearish divergence in the making that's sitting around this area. But the time frame of that set divergence is critical. So let's take a deep breath. Let's go to a cleaner screen. Okay. And let me walk you backwards from the weekly so that we can better understand what the hell I am saying and why is this divergence significant, and why, if you're a hodler, you don't necessarily need to do anything other than prepare to buy. Okay, so let's quickly head over to the comments before we take this a little bit further. I just want to see who's here, who's live, and who's ready to chat. And let me just, while that happens, you can see I do these videos live and unscripted and unplanned. I look at the technicals, I say what I see, and that's it. And sometimes it's a little uncut. So if you're new to the channel, say hi in the comments. And even if you're not watching live, I always like to reply. And that's it. So and we've got MC in the house as well. The comments are running a little fast, jumping around. So as soon as I want to click on it, it jumps. Okay, we've got MC in the house as well. And today she's also going to talk to you guys about it's more than okay to start over. So if you missed some of these buys in our buys, it's okay. It's okay. We got you covered, my friends. Right. So I see we've got, let's see, we've got Stefan in the house. Who else do we have in the house here? Peter, press some buttons. Let's see who else we've got. We've got Yuri, Mr. Yuri Hayes. Welcome, my friend. Mohammed's in the house as well from Somalia. Let me know where you're tuning in from, guys. And that's it. Let's see. We've got some pinned comments as well. I'm going to slowly get into this. At the end of the stream, I will do some requests. So remember to send in some love there as well. Now, today, let's look at Bitcoin on the weekly. I'm going to zoom out, just look at the candles. Let's just get a little bit perspective. Now, the key thing here that I want to bring in, why I say perspective. When we start an analysis, we can even go as high as the monthly. Now, for the hodler, this is a boring time frame because it doesn't really give you that instant gratification. But if you want to get the trend right, you want to have the bull cycle, the whole ride. You don't want to get shaken out in the middle of the little fluctuations that are going through. This is the time frame to help you remain sane. We tend to get ahead of ourselves. When the dump comes, oh, it's over, and then it's only the beginning of the dump, and the same for the pump. We've reached the top and then there's more. And that tends to mess us up, and then we make emotional driven decisions. So this is weekly. Well, what is significant? Two lines you just need to know of. The upper end of the previous bull cycle, there was the bearish divergence that created this retrace. Okay. And the lower end of trying to stay committed to the bull cycle. And when we broke into this was because of the news that there's going to be a BTC spot ETF. Old news, boring news by now. You can say this guy is wasting my time. But I explained to you guys that there is a significance because price will try and get to at least the midpoint. And when you delete that hidden bullish divergence, which we had there and there and there on all those candles, once we made that higher high, I said, stop thinking bearish thoughts. We're going to go now. And it's that same mindset, that same fractal play that you see here that I'm going to break down and why I see there's a little bit of a hidden bearish divergence that we need to take care of. Okay, so let me take a sip of water. And let's see, please smash the like. Hey, guys, don't listen to me. Listen to Saeed. He knows what he's talking about. And share the video with a friend or two. Let's help get people onboarded. Remember, anybody can make money in the bull cycle. Very few manage to take the profits. We sold a lot of coins and we bought a lot of coins on the dip together. So you know the recipe and you know the magic and the power of what this community has together. Okay, let's clean this. Let's move on. Boom. So you get the fractal that I've explained on the weekly, on the monthly. So that same thing will kind of play out on the weekly. What is significant on the weekly is now we can start bringing in some indicators. So I'm going to bring in the RSI. The RSI is a simple tool. And the RSI is just telling me that from where we are now, there we had strong bearish divergence. What does this mean? Strong bearish divergence. It's a reversal divergence. It doesn't mean that the trend will get broken. It just means that the trend or the bottom of the trend could get tested at minimum. And from that point onwards, you need to take risk. You need to buy that dip. Okay. So let's get back to our chart. So if I take a trend line then, because we're looking at this and we look at this, you can see that, hey, we're still kind of in trend. Now, a trend line is simple. I don't need to watch a YouTube video to draw a trend line correctly, and you will be correct. But there's additional tricks that you can use. You can go over to your FIB tools, and you can go look at your FIB channel. All right? I call it a channel, but it's actually a resistance fan. Take it from the bottom to the top. As long as we stay within that fan on each of these highs, we're bullish, okay? And then when it's there, you have to make some tough decisions, okay? Simple as that. So as long as that, we're bullish. We're good. You're good. So now you know you learned a little trick there. You can just do that and you can keep an eye on the trend on any alt, anything you're holding. So that was the idea for the weekly time frame. Taking this now to the daily time frame. Now we're going to start zooming in and getting a little bit more technical, a little smarter. Bring in the RSI. Let's look at the bottom now. What do we have? Okay. We've got a scenario where price is range bound. So on the daily time frame, we have to be patient. This is what this is telling me. We have an upper end of the band. We've got a lower end of the band. And I said to you last week, the rule is stop trying to be a smart ass. Be bearish at the top, be bullish at the bottom. And let the majority of the traders out there fumble and stumble over their own analysis. Because when are they going to really get in? Because it's looking bullish today, now. And the tool that you can use to identify this is the visible volume profile. Meaning if I look at this and I take away the RSI, you can see where the most amount of buying occurs. Right there in the middle. This is where all the smart asses get into the trend and why they get wrecked. That's why people get wrecked. Okay, so we bought in the low volume area and we sold in the low volume area. And you know, you want to be in the minority so that you can make money because the majority is the ones losing. So that's the whole idea. Okay, so now we have that. What else do we have? So the daily is a lateral trend. It's a sideways trend. Now let's take this information and move this over to the 4-hour time frame. Okay, let's take away the volume profile while we're on that as well, because that isn't relevant information. Okay, now the 4 hours where it gets tricky. Remember the weekly analysis that I shared with you guys? What do we have? Let's bring back our friend, the RSI. Pivot, and then dump. Pivot, dump. And now what's price doing? Price is stuck. You've got this with this, and you've got this with this. So now we've got that hidden bearish divergence. And hidden bearish divergence is a scenario where if we do not sweep the next highs, price is going to go and try and test the range lows, like the cautionary tale we had. So whether this time Bitcoin is just like the monthly, just going to break up and keep on going higher, maybe give us a Bitcoin halving rally or not, the advantage that we have is we can take both sides of the bet. Okay, so let's get back to the chart now. So what do we need to do? We understand that that divergence is there. So we have a scenario where, or an area where we have to be bearish. Okay, we bought nice buys, and it's this zone here that you need to consider. I'm just going to call it the interest zone. You need to be interested. You need to take note of your bags, or the right term, the imbalance. Price sold off too quickly. So if we were going to trend lower, this is the area where a lot of shorts are going to enter the market again, trying to screw us over. Now, a tool we can use for that is the liquidity map. Now, there's a link in the video. They channel affiliate partner. You get a free trial. Go play with this. Open your account today and go play with it. But this will tell you, look at that pocket there. It's sitting, there's a lot of liquidity sitting for the shorts from around 69 to about 70 onwards. Now let's go back to our chart. Where does this liquidity? 68 to 69. So if that liquidity gets hit and there's not a lot of short players that come in, what's going to happen? We can make the higher high. But if that liquidity gets hit and there's a wave of new short sellers jumping in because of the scenario that there's hidden bearish divergence, that would be a proving ground for the bears to kind of reinforce the fact that Bitcoin will probably go make a lower low. So that's the risk we have. Now, what's retail going to do? They're going to take a line like that, draw it in like that, and say, okay, there's the trend line. We broke the trend. Amazing. And then we call it a fake out. When it gets there, and if there's enough short sellers, the price sells down, but we broke out and it failed. And that's the hard part. So trading doesn't give you, and technical analysis doesn't give you what will happen next. It just tells you the risks of what you're going to do next. Now you see the plan, you see the pros and the cons, the advantage of where we are and the disadvantage. It leaves you with an idea that if we're in this area and you're sitting with good profit and you want to take some, take some. Because if we're wrong, we'll probably break out and come and test something you can buy back. Or if you're in a compromised position and you feel like, hey, shit, maybe I need to reduce my risk because I don't have enough buy the dip money, I never sold, that would be a good area to be part of the resistance. Because ultimately, until the daily starts trending again, playing a long or a short play, meaning I think it's going to go up or I think it's going to go down, it's going to be literally just gambling. It can go either way. We do not try and predict. We act, measure the risk, and that's it. Okay. There you have it. So any questions on this? Drop it in the comment section. There's about 300, probably, climbing up slowly, 300-400 of you guys joining in live. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the retweet for those on Twitter, Twitch, whichever tool you have. Spread the word. Come on, let's grow the community together. Okay. So that's the problem that I have at this stage, which brings me to where the alt analysis are. So that's it. Can we go lower? Yes, there's definite moves. Is there buys, probable good buys in these bottom areas, which tells me from a trader point of view, there is a reason to sell. There is a reason to sell even there. We can't be too ahead of ourselves. It's just Bitcoin on the 4-hour. And then there's a reason to buy these lows again, because if price falls down, I have to be bullish at the bottom, like the previous buys we had. Okay, that rests my Bitcoin case. Now, let's quickly go to your questions. Let's see, we've got here, where do I get in on BTC if I have not bought yet? Well, buddy, basically, if you haven't bought yet, you need to be buying the range lows. Daily time frame, you want to be buying range lows. What you don't want to be doing is you don't want to be buying in the middle of any range, because your risk to invalidation, you want to get in, but you don't want to get in and say, well, I need to hold for the next 6 months to find out whether I had a good buy. Means that you need to carry all the risk all the way out of this range. So if you want to get the best deal, the lowest risk for the reward that you're going to take, you're trying to want to buy when it's in this area. So when price is around 61, 62, good zone. But the drawdown is you're buying when it's trending to the downside. So the best buys are where you're back against the wall. So 60, thereabout. That's the best buy. But if you don't have skin in the game, you're going to sit outside. There's always going to be risk. So it's a tough answer. Buy that exact dollar. I mean, I didn't even know that my buy zone's going to hold. I never know. I always take risk. Okay, so hope that sorts you out. What's your bottom target if we break down? Good question from Flashback. So moving back to the supply-demand raise, I'm not going to go into how they're drawn or the education around that. For me, the bottom target is 54, as low as it's going to go. But the thing here that you need to remember is, and pause the chart, replicate this, or go to the Discord and ask me for it. I'll send you a copy so you can replicate this. The key with these supply and demand waves is these things are drawn from way back in the past. I pick these levels up here, project them going forward, and at least then I've got like a destination map. I don't know where it's going to go next, but I know if it moves in this direction, there's a plausible or a high probable bounce or dump zone. Okay, so we've got a highly probable zone running right here. But if we fall through it, our zone is there. But because these rays are moving up, because Bitcoin is still realistically trending up, all the halving prices, it's still trending up. You have a scenario that if time shifts, your answer, the answer that I'm going to give you today, tomorrow it's a different price point. Meaning if I take a vertical line, I draw it right there. Today, bounce point, 59.7, worst case, 54.2, okay? Move it on by, say, a week. This is 7 days. We move it on there. Now it's a little higher, 54.6. So it was 54.1. Now it's 54.6, $500 higher, vice versa. Shoot it down below. As you can see, the price is going to move on. So that's relevant as well. So sometimes you need time for these things to line up with a specific support and resistance level. And that's what makes technical analysis so interesting and fun, to explore the possibilities. But it means that you have to watch these videos daily, because we take it a day at a time as more information comes through. Okay. Can you show the bearish divergence on the weekly? Why do you want to see weekly bearish divergence, my friend? Because we're not looking at divergence on the weekly. We're looking at divergence on the 4 hour. If we look at the weekly divergence, and maybe you're talking about the strong bearish divergence, the easiest way to just do it is go to your weekly time frame, switch to the line tool, and then what do you have? There is thou shalt not cross, our first pivot. There's a lower low, there's a higher high. Fall below that level, expect lower targets. Simple. But now for good measure, what do we have? There's a pivot there, and there's a pivot there. So for the weekly, there's your hidden bullish divergence. It's stronger than your strong bearish divergence. So as long as that's there, you're good. But you can be bullish all the way to that point, which means, to get back to flashbacks, worst case scenario is a weekly or monthly candle closing below 51.8. Because then hidden bullish divergence, continuation divergence is deleted. Then all the bullish narratives and stuff will probably be exhausted. Okay, let's park Bitcoin there. 19 minutes in. I think we did a lot. I shared a lot, discussed a lot. I hope you guys got a good idea of where we're at and what I see coming next. Now, let's take a little bit of a look at the legacy markets. Why? Because these things do impact Bitcoin. But before we do that, before we look at that, let's talk about why is it okay to start over? If you missed, why you shouldn't rush into buying right now in the middle range. So I've got somebody in the background here, and I'm going to bring her up now. This is Marie-Claire. Marie-Claire, how are you doing?
Hey, Rudo. I'm well. How are you?
Awesome. Quickly introduce yourself to everybody, because there's a lot of new people.
Yeah, I see. It's awesome to see new people in the community. So for those who don't know me, MC for short, my name's Marie-Claire though, and I am a self-awareness coach, mindset coach. Rudo said it perfectly the other day. I give you a different perspective to look at in terms of just getting your mind right. And this isn't just for crypto. This is like life stuff. But because this is crypto and this is where we're at, today's theme really is about just, it's okay to start over. And all of you know that you learn from every experience you've ever had. You don't walk away with nothing. So your ego mind will tell you that starting over means you're starting from scratch. And I want to tell you that that's not the case. It is you taking all this wisdom and all this experience. And if you can see it as that, don't beat yourself over the head every time you've done something to be like, oh my word, I can't believe I've done that. We're human, and that's the way we learn. People will call it mistakes, but I call it feedback. So there's no such thing as failure, just feedback. So when you get ego out the way, you will know that it's okay to start over. All your experience, all your wisdom, and please make different choices this time. Because then you may keep bumping your head over and over again. If you keep making the same choices, expecting the same result, I think it's Einstein's perfect quote. Yes. Learn from it. Start over. It's okay.
There you have it, guys. It's okay. So you must, it's okay. You know what the beauty about this is? There's the market, since its inception, has never run out of opportunities. Food for thought. So you might miss, maybe didn't TP, maybe didn't. There's another opportunity coming your way. So there you have it. MC, thanks so much. Just to give you guys a little bit of background as well, from my point of view, my relationship with MC started when, I was trading with a hell of a lot of money. So, you start becoming successful, and then you start making money. And at that stage, you start looking at, oh, shit. Now what? If I get it wrong, it's not like I'm losing $500. It's like I'm losing a beach house worth of money. And that's a scary thing. So I had to go and look for something or someone. At that stage, I don't know what it was going to be, that's going to help me navigate these things, because we all have inherently bad habits, psychological words, stuff maybe don't feel like you're good enough, or maybe, I always find a way to screw it up, or I was greedy, or you hold on to that resentment, or that forgiveness. You don't forgive you for your mistakes, because in the work world life that we are, and we're all professionals, a mistake means you've done something really bad. And if you get to avoid everybody knowing you've screwed up, it's a bargain. And that's the worst thing for trading. So spoke to her. She helped me look at certain ways of talking, words I'm using, that kind of traps negative thoughts in the back of your head. And once I've done that, you looked at your trading through different eyes, you're investing through different eyes. And that makes the realization that I do not have control over tomorrow, do not have control over the candles, or where even they're going to go. All I have control over is my actions today. And if I'm clear, fresh, open-minded, I'll have a chance to make a better call than if I'm under stress. So that's
absolutely. You've learned so well. You've perfect. Star student.
Star student.
Yeah. And also just to quickly add on to that, Rudo, and you've said it so many times, this journey isn't linear. You can see it in the charts, up, down, up, down, up, down. And someone said in the comments, do I need nerves of steel? And it's not nerves of steel. It's just this allowance and having patience and just recognizing the patterns, and just being okay with those patterns, because it's like the surfers on the waves. They read the waves. They know what waves to take. They know which ones to leave out. So see yourself as a surfer in the crypto. And again, you always know I'm going to bring in the fun element for anyone who's new. I'll bring in the fun and the joy element, because it takes the seriousness out. And like Rudo says, when the seriousness is there, you make mistakes because it feels bigger. So lighten everything up and use visualization. See yourself as this crypto surfer and recognize which trades you want to take, which ones you just want to kind of suss out. And if someone else takes it and makes money, that's okay. That's their journey. Your journey will be different to everyone else's. And again, that's also okay.
There you have it. And to close on the surfer idea, I've never heard of a surfer that quit surfing because he missed a wave.
Exactly.
There you go.
Brilliant.
Right.
Thanks for having me, Rudo.
Thanks so much for taking the time. You'll be back next week, Monday, guys. So make sure if you want a little bit more MC wisdom. And you can also go and look her up in our Discord. You're going to find her under, scroll up. Where am I? Trading Mindset. There's a whole platform and there's people always asking and booking. So be part of it. Go get yourself adjusted, get your mind changed in that way. It did a big thing for me, and it will probably do the same for you. So there you have it. Thanks, MC. You have a lovely day.
Thanks, Rudo. You too. Bye.
Right. So let's get back to the charting side. But do they quit because of sharks? Well, I've never had, Garth, I've never had, look, coins can get dumped on as well, but the beauty is, in this sense, you've got more than two legs. So if you lose a leg, you're still okay. let's leave it. Let's just leave the analogy there. Otherwise, it's going to get too crazy. But thanks in any case. Guys, while we're on this topic, though, today's video is brought to you by or sponsored by Bybit. So create your own Bybit account, come trade spot with me. And in addition to this, if you do that, you can actually get the Bybit deals. If you've got your Bybit account and at least $100 worth of spot, all you need to do is in the Discord, go to the navigation button, say get the Bybit deal. I've opened my account and click there. There's a little bot. If all is good, you've got a Bybit account with my partner link, you've got at least $100 worth of spot, it will unlock the paid section, some of these channels for you, so you can actually see my investment report and the big cap alts report. So you can actually get access to that as well. Simple as that. The whole thing is engineered to make you not need to pay for these. Okay, there you have it. Let's move on. See Monday mind shift there. There's also something in there. So MC's got a little nugget for you guys. So go check it out there in the Discord. Let's get to the altcoins, because I think that's the big thing in everybody's mind. Now, when is the alts going to really move? The big thing for me is the dominance. As we've fallen below on this last little pump, we've fallen below the 23.6, big key thing. We've closed actually below the 38.2, meaning percentage-wise, this is a really good reversal wick, okay? But we still need to fall below this 54%. If we don't do this, it's going to go down. Okay, if we don't do this, it's going to go up again and test. But if we close below this, probably going to happen for us. Why? Because the trend works as follows. Let's get this chart. Every time Bitcoin passes its previous all-time high and it's halving. So the halving is the red line and the all-time high is the orange horizontal high. Every time that happens, it's at that point. Let's line these charts up. It's at that point. You can see there, lined up, okay? When the dominance dumps as Bitcoin goes up, alt season. Because now the market is bullish, but the eyes are falling onto the altcoins. That's why I'm saying this is probably the last altcoin discount round. So if you don't buy within the risks that we set out with these alts, this is when they're going to really fly. Now, within this area, there will be new projects and new opportunities. So if you miss out, it's okay, because there will be others. And let's have a look at the previous round. Yet again, BTC passed the halving and the all-time high. And it's only at that stage when the dominance really started kicking in. Now, things are a little different this time. We've already passed the all-time high, closed above it. We're currently almost sitting at that all-time high price, okay? And we have now passed the halving. So the betting man, if you're looking at this, it tells you that altcoin season isn't that far away. Logarithmically, another channel partner, if you go and have a look in the link, you can go and try this out as well. Tokenmetrics, AI, software that scans all the coins, gives you reports on them as well. Flashed bearish a while ago and will probably be flashing bullish soon. Now, our calls We're always bullish at the bottom, and then the algorithm kicks in. We were bearish at the top, then the algorithm kicks in. So we've been tracking this for a while. So it's really accurate, really powerful, so you can play on with it. But the key here is what I want to bring your attention to. The alts are way down. I'm saying it's bullish now. We are getting to a point where it's flashing bullish. Now, the last time I said that, we were there, and the alts had an amazing run up to the point. So the grade where BTC is at and the alts, or the total market cap is at the alts, basically showing us that there's a really good opportunity. Now, bottoms aren't bullish. So the bull bear grade is kind of neutral, which is good in the end of the day. Even if it was bearish, I just don't want this to be bullish, because bottoms, real bottoms, by the dip bottoms, shouldn't be bullish. It should look bearish. It should look like there's more dumping going to be happening. So that's the key here, guys. That's what we're looking for. Alt season not there yet. Remember, altcoin season, as per the last time we had a little short one, is when price and the dominance start moving in. So they've got their own algorithmic version of calculating that, probably looking at all the alts buying and their gains in relation to BTC. And that's also telling us it's not quite there. Now, top performers, as you can see, the alts are quite boring at the moment, not moving more than 6%. There's more dumpers, 12%, and so forth, than anything else. So trading volume is currently still market average. So in the end of the day, everything is kind of hovering around. We just moved a little bit above the bounce bottom area, and there's still time for you to get in on some of these bargains. Okay, so there you have it. So now let's look at those alts. Let's bring up. So this was the OP area. This was the area for the buy, and I explained to you guys, if you're in a hurry, what you can do is you can start getting in on 50% of the wick scenario, meaning price is going to do this, and then we're probably going to have a resistance there and another test. So there's another opportunity coming your way. But these buy zones are still there. Track the momentum. This was our take profit zone, guys. I mean, we pretty much nailed this to the T. Okay, so we TP there, you buy there. That's a 58% discount. Now, for the guy that's holding this, it feels like it's bear market. The shit's over because I'm down 60% on my holdings. And that's the power of being able to see when to sell and see when to buy. Okay, there you have it. Can we see the Kingfisher chart? Yes, we can see the Kingfisher chart, but that's now for a little bit later down the stream. Okay, so there you have it. Now let's move on to some of the other alts. So let's scroll back. Let me quickly, and the big one is Ethereum. Ethereum has got a spot ETF approval. But what I said to you guys a while ago, with BTC, it was a big news, first movers. So second time around, it could potentially not be such a big thing. But the key here is, when we look at Ethereum, weekly time frame, okay, we've got weak, not hidden bullish, weak bullish divergence. So the RSI is kind of making a lower low, but price is still making a higher low. So that is realistically still good. And our hodl buy, this is now for the entire bull cycle. We've wicked in there now for 2 weeks within the buy zone. Resistance is still going to hit there. So if you're not in it, don't chase it, but understand that we can still go there and still go all the way in this red box, and it will still be bullish by that definition, okay, by the entire bull cycle definition. Why such a big thing? So that I don't have to say I was wrong? No, you know when I say I'm wrong, I'm quite straight up forward with that. It is because of this. So if you're new to the chart, look at this chart. When we look at BTC, the entire move, and this is probably the only time that the monthly chart should excite you, okay? When you look at this, halving to halving, there's something that we can do. We can do a little bit of a time analysis. So you can go over there, you can look at your FIB time zone. So I'm taking it from halving to halving. And I'm just highlighting the 38.2 and the 618, yet again, the golden ratio FIB levels. And if I look at this, when BTC reaches its top, it's close to, in this instance, the 38.2, okay? And when BTC reaches its bottom, it's close to the 618. If I take that now and I move it over to the next halving line, when we look at that again, you can see BTC is close to the top, BTC is close to the bottom. And I move it into the last bull cycle, halving to halving. You're going to see close to the bottom, close to the top, okay? Now, if that is the case, let's make this a little bit bigger now. If that is the case, if I move this line over, and that's what those two lines are, just that basically pushed forward. Oops, let's do that. So if I move this over, when can we estimate or guess where the top's going to be? Well, by that date, roughly. Wherever price is going to be, I don't know. But by that time, statistically, tells us we're probably going to reach a top. And when will the bear market be? Probably 3618. So it's somewhere going to be in that orange. So my and your job is to hunt for bargains, hunt for high risk opportunities, because the reward on them is much higher than the risk that we carry on them. And it's from now until then. Finally, we're in this area. So that's a nice little chart. That's what you need to do on monthly and weeklies. Okay, so let's bring this back to our altcoins. Let's quickly head over to your comments. 35 minutes in, about 500 people joining in live. And hit the likes, my friends. And let's continue. So let's see. I'm just going to read your comment section. Telos is moving. What else can I see? Best buy zones. And if you want any buy zones, guys, yet again, if you have the Bybit role, you're going to have access to this channel where you can actually just send me a question. I want you to chart this, and I'll chart it with the video and have it for you so you can actually have a look at it, which means that although the YouTube videos are relatively short, there's way more time I can choose how in-depth I would want to go. It's your advantage in the end of the day. Okay, so let's continue onwards. Let's have a look at the next quote. Solana, there's the wick. And that was the scenario. So we went to the half of the wick now. So you got your Solana bargain buys. We're on our way up. Where's resistance? Somewhere there. By the time we're going to get there, if we've got hidden bearish divergence, it means that this triangle is probably going to form. We're going to do something like that. And only then break out. It means we're probably not going to see profit for the next few weeks. Let's go to the next one. AVAX. So we went to the wick again. We're at resistance breakthrough. We're probably going to move to this 48 area. Remember, this was our sell zone. Okay. Bitcoin Cash sold there in that area. Potentially can go as low as that because this move was crazy. But this is our thou shall not cross line. So if we want the macro bull move to hold, price needs to try and stay above this red line, and it's trying to do so. Okay. So break out, get on the other side, then we can dream bigger. Okay. I'm going to jump over to NEO. Okay. There was the breakout. That was how NEO buy in that area there. And it performed like a dream. So at this stage, NEO is chopping a little bit. The market's uncertain. Expect that this chop's going to play in a little bit. But these are spot buys. You're not getting wrecked. Nobody's taking your leverage. You're buying it when it's fearful, and you're holding through all this chop. So by the time that we get to these big TP zones, you're going to be golden. Okay, that's the key to this. Let's have a look at this one. Say 618 area, bottom of the trend. Okay, so it's moving up nicely. Now, full disclosure, guys, we bought here to sell there. Okay, then we bought there. That failed. I get shit wrong. This is all about managing risk. I do not know what the future is going to hold. So now we're buying a lower area. So it failed. We're buying a lower area. Okay, so where is price going to want to go? First thing, price is going to fight this resistance. Okay, and what is it doing? It's above it now. So now there's a new resistance. And this line is to be defined. But what is important now, if you look at that high there, and you look at where this is, up until, let's do this, up until this candle goes above it, you've got hidden bearish divergence. So it tells me this momentum is still intact. Okay, so go and break that, and then it will come back and we'll buy 53. If it goes below this area and it sweeps a little lower, we could get strong bullish divergence at the bottom, and we can buy again. And then, for some reason, looking into the future, it will make logistically sense that this should have been the trend line draw. And we'll take it as it goes. Okay. Now, important thing, and I wanted to get to this before we end off the stream for today, is Newsweek. So we've got the advanced GDP coming through. That's just basically GDP numbers. Now, why is it significant? Well, the interest rate gets determined by how strong the GDP, what inflation is, and overheated economy, meaning a really strong economy, means that we sit in a situation where the rates need to be raised. And we had that. So we had a really overheated economy, price started moving up, and rates are now raised. So once the rates starts pivoting, meaning we're going to move from a high interest rate to a low interest rate, that's at the stage when the market rallies a little bit more. So you can see there's a pivot. This is a good example. The market rallies a little bit more and then dumps, and only then recession comes in. So GDP figures will probably be a significant thing, because it should tell us that we're still far away from a recession, and we want the GDP figures to be positive, because at the end of the day, it's going to reinforce the fact that the interest rate needs to be left where it is. The last thing is we want an interest rate turning down, because that means that we're pivoting. And as you know, pivots are bad. It looks bullish on the charts, but it's bad. Okay. And this means that our Dixie is probably still going to push up a little bit to at least these levels. So the prediction is that this is going to happen. And then once we're there, we're going to define whether we're going to stay above the thou shall not cross line on this monthly analysis for the Dixie, and whether we're going to fall down lower. Now, if you're saying, Rudo, what the hell is the Dixie? I'm new to your channel. Simple. When Bitcoin reaches its all-time highs, the Dixie has trended down. Okay. When Bitcoin reaches its bottoms, the bear market bottoms, the Dixie has trended up. So from a technical analysis point of view, if I can spot these highs and lows again, when I can spot a definite technical low for the Dixie with a technical high, bearish divergence on Bitcoin, it currently corresponds that, hey, maybe we've got a long-term trend top. Vice versa. Okay. And looking at where we are, we bought Bitcoin at 16K. Very few people got it right. We did. Okay. Off the back that we were looking at this strong bearish divergence on strong bearish divergence, fell below the pivot. So there was the bear bottom. And this is now hitting resistance for a while as BTC is still moving to the upside. And we, for all good measures, if you look at this, it's basically range bound at the top of the range. So what do we know about this? I was shorting this. I would be bearish at the top. So my play is hopefully that the Dixie is going to find some sort of a bearish support here and start moving back down. And this then is going to drive Bitcoin and our altcoins up higher, and probably going to ignite that little alt season that we so hope and dreaming for. What else do I have to support this? Well, if I look at the Dow Jones, it's in the sell zone. The sell zone on the monthly. I'm not going to show you how I got to those areas again, but it's in the sell zone. But it's got a thou shall not cross line. There it is. So expect this, because it's just seen all-time highs, to minimum just test that area, which means that's why we've got this little bit of this stalemate in the markets, BTC halving and all these great news, and we're not getting anywhere. Okay, people might be blaming it on news events, war events, and but technicals, we don't look at that. We just measure the risk. The risk is that this is something that needs to happen in order for people to lose, so that we can be the minority and make money. Same for the S&P 500. There, we're just moving down. Simple. We need to go test this area at least. Same for the NASDAQ. Okay. In the sell zone, moving back down. That's it. That's all. Trend still intact. Everything is still fine. So that is what makes me believe that we are okay for buying the dip. Okay. So there you have it, guys. 43 minutes in. Wyckoff and Garth, I think that's a really good question. And it's a valid question, because if you're holding some comp, what the hell is happening there? So let's have a look at this now. Now, as I explained to you guys, Wyckoff is the following. Wyckoff theory tells you it's a backwards looking analysis tool. So we're looking at shit that happens here, and we're comparing that to stuff that happens in the past. And if enough of these things played out in sequence, we can call this an accumulation or distribution. And if that is the case, we have three buying areas. First being there, which is hard because you kind of need to predict this. Okay. Then the second is between the upper and the lower end. That area where I say from a trader point of view where you don't want to buy. But with Wyckoff, remember this is investment point of view. You buy. So the midpoint. So take a line to the upper and bottom area. The midpoint, 50%. So that's your second buying area. So that's where we bought. Okay. And then there's the third one. The argument is that from this first buy to the second buy, you want to see a trend within this range. That's basically why they say trend within range, phase D. So from phase C onwards, trend within range. That completes your phase D. And the argument is then from that point, you make a higher high, sweep all the liquidity. And then if all is good, your third buying opportunity is there at 73. Now, comes with danger. What if we fall back in the range, which is what we did? This is going to still be support, and this is going to still be support. But all that this means is that the accumulation for this specific coin has not been completed. There wasn't enough people buying the dip, so there was too much selling pressure. There's no other way that you can ever really do this, but you know which is going to which. So this is why there's risk. That's why we buy in, and buy in. So yes, this position that I bought is in drawdown. Okay, 33% in drawdown. But this position is in profit. This position is in break even. So where am I at? I'm in break even. So for me, the risk is I have time to wait and see. Now, this is the key. So if you weren't around and you didn't manage to buy these lows, there's a whole tweet thread for all the coins that I marked this out for you guys to go and validate whether I'm talking bullshit, whether I'm telling fact. That is just part of the thing. So sometimes your today is not the best day. Just because you're here to invest doesn't mean there's always the best investment opportunity. So according to Wyckoff, this is the highest risk, but it yields the best reward. This is the medium risk, but it gives you the buffer. And this is the lowest risk. But if it fails, it's got a higher drawdown because you can still be trapped within this range. So comp didn't do well. I mean, curve failed miserably. It's at the bottom of the range, just as a scenario, guys. Technical analysis went through all the steps, and look at where curve is. In our strong weekly bullish divergence area, the worst case scenario. So we bought there and it failed, went into the worst case scenario. So because we're technical analysis, we cheat. We look at this and say, but if I'm right, this is what I'm expecting, 4,000%. But if I'm wrong, we're going to go there at minimum. And then we'll take it from that point onwards. This is spot analysis. You don't buy any of these things on leverage, you'll get wrecked. Okay. So Garth, is the price, so your question is, strategy still valid? Yes, it's still valid because we're still within the range. What we don't want to see, we want to move into this area. Now that you've got this background, so that you can fish for yourself. What do I don't want to see? I don't want to see price fall below this because then it's invalidated. Then this entire range is there. So what do? At this point, I can choose, do I want to carry more risk, the same risk or less risk? Meaning, because I'm at break even, I bought all three. I can literally sell 50% now, and it means absolutely nothing, but I've got more buying power. So I can either then wait for this thing to create another trend and buy, or I can buy something else that's moving. Never sit on a sinking ship or a floating ship. When a rocket passes, you buy. You can grab a rocket and make money on that. And the end of the day, and if I fail with my 50%, I am still always comfortable taking a certain amount of risk. No reward comes with risk. And then that's it. And then the next time, the long run, I'll probably make it from there. There's the queue, 50 minutes in. Peter is saying, hey, hurry up. It's all Peter. You see there, he's laughing at himself, throwing me off the stream here. So there you have it, guys. What do I think about BONK? I'll be really brief. Let's quickly head over to the BONK chart. What did I say? Buy there. It's moving up. What do we have? Now we just don't want to see hidden bearish divergence. Shit, we've got hidden bearish divergence. So BONK has got two options. Make a higher high, or it needs to fill the trading in this area to then make a higher high there. Which is it going to be? I don't know, but I understand the risks of the two, and that's what we need to do. So I hope that this helps you guys. All these buy zones, if you're new to the channel, was in all last week's videos. Go check them out. And at this stage, we just need to see whether the breakout occurs or not. There you have it. JJ Docs says thank you. Thanks to you, buddy, as well. My friends, it's going to be a busy week. Tomorrow, we'll have an idea what happens here, how we're going to buy this or continuation. Get in if you missed it. So make sure to watch tomorrow's video. Do the likes, do the subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and get yourself over to the Discord. Compliments of Bybit and come trade with me. As always, my friends, keep hustling.
I'll keep hustling.
Subscribe now.